So somehow this missed my radar, and I wasn't able to see it until almost a day after it had launched or had been posted. It's not really a crazy thing at first glance, but I think it points to better communication. And color me an optimist. Call me optimistic Alex for this one, but let's check it out. Notice of gratitude, so thanks, for all feedbacks given for the June update. And this was posted June 14th, so just over a day and a half ago, whatever, at 10 o'clock at night. Greetings, agents. We would like to give our thanks to agents who provided feedback regarding the June update. All feedbacks are currently under an internal review. We aim to provide further guidance through the development team letter by next week. So, what does this mean? It means that they've noticed players are unhappy with the Franklin update. Most notably, the Plus Pack, where the extra Doom bots and the extra emblems that you can farm are all locked behind a $40 price tag. And that's $40 US. So then when it gets converted to Canadian, it's $55. When it gets converted to, other currencies, it's way more. And it's just basically a whole big kind of screw up. So yeah, this is really good. This is basically what we want them to do every time. Every time there's a big screw up, we would like this kind of feedback first, because this gives them more time without, players developing permanent bad habits or quitting or whatever, this kind of thing. Like it basically keeps lines of communication open. It's like, hey guys, we hear you, we acknowledge that you're upset with the update, and we're gonna work on fixing it. And just to put this into perspective, like, some people are saying, okay, like, this is too little too late. Why didn't they fix this before? They saw on the 7th of June, a week earlier on Friday, when 3RL was in the live stream update. They saw our reaction to it, whatever. You still have to see how these things launch, right? You still have to see literally every company nowadays. I'm not just talking about video games. Nearly every company nowadays, for better and for worse, they launch their stuff in a beta state. And then they see, hey, do people like this? Is there things we can change? Because, you could, for tons of reasons. I'm not going to justify it here, but I'm just saying this happens a lot. So, but looking at their turnaround time, they released this update on the 11th late at night. So let's call it like early morning on the 12th. And then the 12th passes, that's 1 full day. The 13th passes, that's 2 full days. And then half of the 4th. So in 2.5 days, so basically 60 hours, they responded. Now, this isn't technically a response. This is like a notice that they will respond by next week. But I think I would argue, and I think that this is better than if they had responded with a development letter on the 14th. Because this means, this is like, hey guys, we're currently still collecting feedback. So you still have time to offer feedback, right? The feedback window hasn't closed yet. And they're going to basically they're going to cook this up. They're going to think about this, and they're going to come up with a better answer next week. That is a more measured, more calm, more appropriate professional response. I prefer this than if they had just released something, 2 or 3 days into the update saying like, hey guys, sorry about the Franklin update. We're going to send everybody a CTP selector as an apology. Because that's a good short-term apology, and I'm sure some of the people watching would be like, hell yeah. I'm sure some of the people that bought the Franklin pack would be like, hell yeah, free CTP. But what about the people in 3 months? What about the people in 6 months? What about the people in a year who pick up the game or whatever, come back to the game, returning players? They're screwed. There's no CTP selector for them, and the content hasn't changed whatsoever. So, I think it's important that they fix this and that they fix it right? It's a measure twice, cut once type of situation. So I'm glad to see the devs taking that sort of like calm, measured approach. We do often criticize them for not communicating enough, but I would never criticize them for not communicating fast enough, right? Because communication takes time. Get it right is very, very important. So I'm really happy to see this. What I also want to point out here, if we go into the update itself and we take a look at the Emblem collection, we can see if you click on applied effects. I've been sort of busy at work here, but if you click on applied effects, you can see some interesting stuff here, because it says, okay, values from the same effect will display a cumulative number. Effects that apply to certain targets will not be summed and will be displayed individually. Okay, like, you know, damage to blast types, whatever, damage versus males, damage versus females. But interestingly, you see here, it says all content, and then you can scroll. Right now, there are only 3 pieces of content that have any effects in the Emblem set. You have Alliance, you have, what is it, Timeline Battle, right, with a bunch of different effects. You have Dimension Rifts with a bunch of different effects. And you have World Boss with a bunch of different effects. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I see Epic Quest, Alex? Why do I see Dispatch? Why do I see Otherworld Battle, Alliance Conquest, Alliance Tournament? Well, because some of the effects, especially on the mythic ones, they just apply to all allies, increasing instinct attack by 4%, which is pretty good. The best one is Green Goblin, which increases all attack by 4% for all allies, like a comic card, exactly like a comic card. However, so that's why right now, that's why, for example, the Epic Quest one is showing up, because I have the Spider-Man and I have the Green Goblin, and those each apply to all content. However, some people have pointed out, and I am inclined to believe them, or sort of not to believe them, agree with them, that this probably indicates that they're planning on releasing more Emblem sets in the future for other content. An Emblem set for Giant Boss Raid, an Emblem set for Alliance Battle, Alliance Conquest specifically, right? Because even though the Green Goblin and the Spider-Man mythic ones and the Nick Fury mythic, even though these 3 apply to all content, all of the rest of them are for specific content, right? So the Spider-Man one is specifically for Timeline Battle, the Iron Man one is specifically for World Boss, and the Shield one is specifically for Dimension Rifts. There's no stopping them, and there's no reason why they wouldn't plan ahead, plan for the future, and say, okay, next up, we're going to release 3 more. We're going to release GBR, Alliance Conquest, and Otherworld Battle, or something like that, right? 2 PvP modes and a PvE mode, or whatever. 2 PvE modes and a PvP mode. Maybe we'll do one that doesn't really matter, and one of each. So we'll do Otherworld Battle for PvP, we'll do GBR for PvE, and we'll do Story next. And we'll save ABX, the Alliance Battle one, for later, because we know there's lots of whales there. We'll save the Alliance Tournament one, because obviously there's big whales there too. Who knows? So it's really important. I'm bringing this up because it's really important. Whatever happens here, it's really important to monitor this, because that's going to be the future of emblems. Now, to play devil's advocate here, because I have done a lot of criticizing of this system, to play devil's advocate, I don't hate the emblem system. The few things that I hate about it right now are the fact that I'll basically explain, right? So obviously I hate the fact that one of the bosses is locked behind $40. That's my number one biggest problem with this, is that some of the emblems that you can farm, I don't even care about Franklin. Take Franklin Bios out of here. I don't care, right? If a character is $40, okay, it is what it is. We already, it's been a long-standing tradition in the game. It's been established for years now. They charge money for some characters, right? Look at the Bio sub, look at the X-Gene sub. That's just how it is, okay? But the content itself, right? The fight itself, the content, the battle, the emblems, that's all locked behind $40. That's cringe. Content should not be locked behind a paywall. If a character is locked behind a paywall, it is what it is. But if content is locked behind a paywall, look at this. Almost half of this chapter is all locked behind a paywall. Anything that's pink is locked behind a paywall. That's not cool. I don't like that. So that's my first issue with the emblem system, is that some of it is locked behind a paywall. That's not good. My second issue with the emblem system is that you sometimes click clear 5 times and you don't get any emblems. The drop rate is pretty bad, and it feels bad. It basically feels bad. Like they're making them a little bit too scarce to farm right now. And I'm not saying that I should have unlocked all of these, right? Because like I don't have some of these yet. Like I don't have the Black Cat here. I don't have, there's a few of them that I don't have that are farmable, and I've played this stage every day that it's been available, but it's only been available for like what, 3-4 days. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that sometimes I don't get any emblem at all, and if you don't get an emblem, it doesn't get converted into emblem data, right? So again, it's sort of like a snowballing effect, where if they tweak the drop chance a little bit, it's very good, because then at least you'll be able to farm the emblem data that you can then use to rank up, you know, other emblems and sort of feel like you're making progress, right? I feel like right now the progress is a little bit It's a little bit too slow, especially if you go on the Reddit and you see someone broke down how long it's going to take for the emblem collection to sort of, max out. Apologies for not being able to find it. I don't know if I dreamed it or if it got deleted or what, but the emblem data, I believe that was done the math on, that you needed to max out one emblem of a normal type is 5,000 of the emblem data, which is a lot. Now, I don't know what that works out to in days. It actually goes down. The emblem data that you need goes down from normal to mythic, so it gets easier, but obviously mythic is harder. It's rarer, so they're not going to drop as frequently. So I don't have the data really to discuss it in depth, but what I do have is this that I put together. This is on the Mega Guides now. You can find this on the Mega Guides. It's in the description of every video. It's the 5th tab called Emblems, and this basically breaks down all of the emblems in the game right now. And just to show you guys the splits on what's available for free, what's available for the Franklin pack, and then what's only available if you gamble. So the splits for the Spider-Man emblem set are 977. So it does favor the free-to-play, but it's still not 100%. And then the splits for the Iron Man are 666, which is equal. And then the splits for the Shield are actually in favor of gambling at 543. So you have 5 from the free boss, 4 from the paid boss, and then 8 from gambling. I don't have to be, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that's not very good. That's not very good. So again, these splits would look a lot better if the Doom Boss 3099 was not gated behind $40. If it was gated behind a crystal purchase instead. That means that free-to-play would still have access to the vast majority of all of these sets. As it stands now, they only have access. They actually don't have access to the majority of any of them. And it's a very low minority. Like it's 5 out of 17 for the Shield set. That's terrible. That's less than a third. Less than a third of the available emblems from the Shield set. So that's really bad. So that's really, again, my biggest issue is the Doom 39 boss being paid only. But also there's a lot of them that are only gambleable. And it feels bad that you can only get these ones through gambling here, but you can also get the other ones from gambling. So it's like you're putting the free ones in the paid ones and then calling it a chest, right? Like with artifacts, you don't grind. Like it's a completely different system with artifacts because you don't grind. There are 7 artifacts that you can grind from the 7 days of Dimension Rifts, but besides those 7, all of the rest, the other 175 that are available, right? Like the vast, like 99% of them are just available through gambling. They're just available through gambling, selectors, and then if you gamble, essence. So, but they're all in the same pool. Whereas this one, you're gonna farm eventually, right? After a couple of months, you're gonna probably have all of the free ones. So that means even if you work up the crystals or you work up the whatever, you get a job, you have some money to throw around, you want to spend it on Marvel Future Fight. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you do, right? You come to that decision. It's your money. You gamble and you're like, oh man, I pulled a legendary and it's Mary Jane and you already farmed her and you're like, oh man, what? Oh, I pulled a mythic. Oh, it's Spider-Man. You already farmed him. You paid $40. You paid for the cuck pack and you still got got. Oh, I got Mythic Iron Man. Oh, I farmed that one already. So I don't know, man. That's the other thing that kind of bothers me about this situation is like, it's pretty lame for people who want to gamble. I feel like almost if they just put the ones that are available in gambling, that would be better. I don't know. Like they should separate them, I guess, because we know in the future they're going to add more emblems, and we know in the future they're going to add more emblems that are gamble only. I don't have a problem with some of the emblems being gamble only. I just have a problem with them being like, it's just not worth. You're basically like everyone's getting screwed over here, right? Like first and foremost, you don't want to screw over free-to-play and low-spending players because they make up the majority of the player base. That's the first priority. Then your second priority, you don't want to really screw over the whales because they keep the servers on, they keep the lights on. So you gotta make it sort of interesting and valuable and sort of it needs to make sense to both player bases. Not necessarily equally, but close to equally. So yeah, I don't have a good answer for how they're gonna fix this. My answer from the beginning was make it like artifacts. What's wrong with the artifact system? Do they really not make enough money off artifacts? Like, is the art, like, did they look at the artifact system and say, like, we can't copy this? Like, this is what I don't understand too. Why can't they copy it? Right? Do they think the artifact system is too complicated? Do people really think, do players think the artifact system is too complicated? I don't think it's too complicated, but yeah, I mean, I spend way too much time playing this game, so I'm not the best example. So I leave it to you guys. Do you guys genuinely think the artifact system is too complicated? If you think the artifact system is too complicated, then sound off below. If you don't think the artifact system is too complicated, then I don't understand why they couldn't have just copied the artifact system. And then instead of getting these these emblem enhancement kits, you get some sort of material that you can use to gamble for emblems. Let me know what you think, because frankly, there's no, like, frankly, if I'm grinding, right, if I'm clear ticketing this and I get a rare emblem drop, it's not really that hype. Let's be honest. It's not really that hype. These don't look that cool. Look what it looks like when you gamble for them. It doesn't even look that cool when you gamble for them. You can't even really tell if what you got is, like, rare or not. The whole thing is packaged in a way that just seems kind of lackluster. Again, they should probably improve this. First of all, I've always told them that the way that the CTPs drop, where it's like doom, 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 that's the best system. I'll waste the crystals here just to show you. This is the best system. Let me show you. Okay, look. Doom, this is the best system. This is the best system in the game. It creates anticipation. It creates anticipation. You're seeing them drop. You're like, oh, man, it's coming. It's coming. Okay, it creates anticipation. It's a good system. It's a good design. Now, let me show you what it looks like. Not for that shit. Let me show you what it looks like for this crap. Are you ready for this? Look, it's the stupid box thing. So if you go one by one, you get this cringe animation. No one does this unless you're a psycho or you're a streamer. And then if you click skip, they all just drop at the same time. Like, and then what does this look like? This just looks so dumb. This doesn't look cool. This doesn't look exciting. Like, they need to make this exciting, man. Come on. I just wasted like 15 bucks. They got to make this exciting. You know, they got to make it exciting and cool, and they got to make it like, boom, like, oh, shit, you got Taskmaster, like, whatever. It shows the little cutscene of Taskmaster or something. I don't know, man. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.